everyone. Welcome to What's the Hype, the podcast weekly chat show hosted by my good self, and hopefully a show during which, with each of our guests each week, we'll be putting the world to rights, or at least finding some of the answers to the big burning questions. The big burning question this week is, are we coping in an always-on world? The world's always on, isn't it? Smart technology, the internet, WhatsApp, people contacting you way outside normal business hours, which seems for some reason to have become perfectly acceptable to our employers. And, I feel quite differently. Are we surviving? Am I overthinking this? Is everything okay? Well, we're going to find out today with my special guest this week, Lisa Graham. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
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 So Lisa is an expertly qualified therapist, wellness coach,
Counsellor.
and counsellor.
Yeah.
All of the above, and
Absolutely.
probably 100 other things as well to people. Based in St Helens.
I am, yes. Based
Great.
in St Helens, yeah.
Brilliant. And Lisa has come to join us today to answer that question. Are we coping in an always-on world? Before we start, Lisa, obviously there'll be people who don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're based, what you do, what's it all about.
Oh, brilliant. So my name is Lisa. My clients know me as Lisa Calm Coach.
Calm with a K.
It is absolutely that. I'm glad you've mentioned that. So Calm and Coach are both with a K.
Right.
So it's Calm Coach with 2 Ks. That has personal significance for me.
Okay.
So my main role is a counsellor and psychotherapist. And I've been a private practice counsellor since 2024.
Right.
And I also do hypnotherapy and holistic therapies. Prior to qualifying as a counsellor, I was a mental health coach.
Okay.
So from 2018 kind of onwards, I was a mental health coach.
So
before
wellness,
I qualified.
mental wellness.
All things wellness is my bag.
All right, okay.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad you joined us for the
thank you
show.
so much.
Thanks very much for coming in.
You're welcome.
And I know, having met you before and talked to you before, that it's going to be really interesting. You've got a lot to say. And I think what you guys might find interesting is not just what Lisa's got to say, it's her experience and how she kind of contextualizes some of the things that we worry about. So, well, you would do, wouldn't you, being a therapist and a counsellor and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And hopefully by the end of this as well, I'll feel counselled and a bit well as well. It's a free therapy session. That's actually why I asked you to come. I just needed therapy. I just needed help. Help me, Lisa.
That's okay,
so,
Al. Yeah.
Right, so let's start with a big question.
Yeah, okay.
Right, and it's a question that I hear people asking all the time. Yeah. Now, this question might only be a thing for people of a certain age, right? I'm not too sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, people like me who were born before, I'm showing my age now, right? Who existed as young adults before the internet became a thing, right? The internet wasn't in existence until I was 27 years old, right? And so up to that age, I didn't have that to worry about, right? I made all my mistakes in life without them being put on Facebook.
Yeah.
I wasn't bullied on social media because it didn't exist. I was bullied at school, mind, but I wasn't bullied on social media. So I didn't have that additional pressure. I wasn't humiliated. I wasn't trying to catch up and keep up with my friends or my peer group on social media, and because it didn't exist. Yeah. And so I feel that I had probably an easier run at being a growing young adult than maybe a lot of kids do today. And I also worry about the fact that it is always on. Right, it's 24/7. Yeah, it doesn't have an off button, and it can be used for extreme good, but also the internet can be used for extreme bad. Right, and it can really implicate people. But it's not just the internet; it's smartphone technology, it's WhatsApp, it's the demanding world in the workplace that we live in now. You used to work from a start time to a finish time. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, you get your boss sending you WhatsApps at 9 p.m. and start. Are you ready for tomorrow morning's meeting? Yeah, and it's really difficult. So, are we coping in an always-on world? Lisa Graham, please tell us the truth.
It's a big question, isn't it? Are we coping? Always being switched on. So your frame of reference, Al, so you've got 2 frame of references really, because you've lived, pre-internet and you're having your experience now. Yep. So you've kind of got that comparison, if you like. So our younger generation don't necessarily have that comparison.
Yeah.
They don't remember the Sundays when the shops didn't open, and it was just all about just kind of getting ready for Monday, and it was just a completely different feel.
So they don't have a frame of reference.
Yeah.
In terms of before.
Yeah.
So actually, it's just normal to them. So what I mean is, living in this world post-internet is all they know. So am I worrying too much? And are they just naturally equipped? Anybody born into that age, pre and post-internet, are these people just naturally equipped to deal with it? Am I worrying too much? Is it okay? Are they all right? Are they armed with the skills to cope?
Interesting, isn't it? And I want to respond from kind of my own kind of competence and experience and knowledge. And, so the counselling I do is predominantly adults, 18 plus.
Yeah.
However, if you look at the research, for example, on like the World Health Organization, that has done a lot of research in younger adults and digital use. There is a lot of studies and evidence that suggests that, teenagers are suffering from anxiety and low mood. And there is a lot of research on the negative impact of always being on, always being connected.
Yeah.
We know that, our body, for example, that moment when you wake up in the morning and you grab your phone and you're instantly on it, we know that our body produces cortisol, the stress hormone. So when we look at that phone first thing, rather than having a slow morning and regulating and being present and connected.
Coming to being into the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being that human being rather than a human doing.
Yeah. It's like the warm-up before a race.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think there is a lot of
But we're not doing that
research.
now. Is that what you're saying?
I'm kind of saying that if I'm speaking from my own lived experience and my own experience of speaking with clients, family, friends, I definitely do think that is a habit that, from my frame of reference that we are in, we get up and we look at the phone.
I did it this morning.
Yeah.
And I think what happens is that that's a brilliant point. We're not warming up into our day, right? And I'd never thought about that. That's actually really important.
Yeah.
To wake up, slowly open your eyes, stretch.
It is.
Go to the toilet, come downstairs, make your brew, waking up into the day, do your exercise, whatever it is you do.
Yeah.
But actually immediately reaching for your phone just to see how many likes you've got on that thing you posted yesterday, or catching up with that horrible comment somebody left on WhatsApp, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You immediately jump into this state of either joy or panic.
You do.
And I've never thought about it like that before.
Yeah.
So it's actually from the moment even sometimes before your eyes open properly, you're into this, I don't know, for me it feels like a bit of a stranglehold for people. And, are we seeing this manifested? And I don't just mean, the internet. I mean, all of the stuff we're talking about, always being on. Are we seeing this because I'm sure you'll have had loads of conversations with people around this in your profession.
Yeah.
Are we seeing this always on world that we live in manifested in increased rates of depression, anxiety, suicidal tendencies, all that stuff? Are we seeing this reflected in increases in those things, or am I just making that up? Because I'm reading a lot about there are increases comparatively if you compare pre-internet or pre-smartphone technology periods to now in this young demographics of 18 to 25. Anxiety has become such a normal, flippant, overused word. Yeah. And it seems to be normalised in our language now, whereas before it was very hardly heard. What's happening? Are people more unwell than they were?
I think, to be honest with you, I think it's hard to know that because I think, our language and our openness, that stigma still exists, but, the mental health talk exists now, and we do use those words like, I'm feeling anxious. you know, and we do have a better understanding. So, you know, the argument could be, you know, are more people anxious and depressed because they're always on and always connected? Or is there a recognition that there's more, it's more spoke about, it's more open, it's reported more, people talk about it more? My personal opinion is that anxiety and depression and stress is higher because we live fast.
Yeah, okay.
There isn't balance. I do think always being connected, always being on.
Yeah.
You know, we are called a human being, not a human doing. And we are, I'm going to say that again. I always say this to my clients, though, you know, we are a human being. We're not a human doing. And if you think of our lifestyles overall, is there balance between us being and us doing?
That's a really great analogy. And I think if that was a scale in time, and this is before all was on, and this is today.
Yeah.
If you imagine that as a seesaw, I would say that the balance of being a human doing is probably heavier now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Always doing something, always
doing.
watching, always listening, always taking part in something.
Yeah.
Avoiding some kind of dilemma around, you know, the internet or a connection of some kind. I don't know, but it just feels that we're always spiraling today.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to sound dead old now, right? Because I am dead old, you know. But
you're not dead old.
I'm 57.
It's not old.
I know. I feel like you just give me therapy around my age. I feel better. I feel younger. So I remember, and this is why I'm going to sound dead old. When I was a kid, in the summer holidays, for example, I'd go out at 8 a.m. I'd come back in at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Filthy.
Yeah.
I've been climbing roofs, you know, playing in the park, going plundering for apples, and all this stuff that, and I'd lose myself in being, right? And I was watching some kids in the estate where I live just the other day. I was thinking about you coming on the show, and this group of kids outside. Now they're outside on a bench outside my house. 8 kids, all between 12 and 15, out together on the phones, not talking to each other for about an hour, but talking to everybody else on the internet that they were connected to, but not each other.
Yeah.
My wife and I went to a restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and there was a couple sitting right next to us, out for a meal together, both on the phones for most of the meal, being with somebody else or doing something else, but not being together in the moment. Are we losing Lisa Graham with all the answers? Are we losing our ability just to be together? And whatever that scenario is, as 2 people, as a group of people, that's is being always on, damaging our ability to know how to socialise? I think that's a big question.
That is a really big question, which would take a lot of research.
Let's do it.
If I'm kind of coming at this from kind of like lived experience and things that I see as well, you know, that is kind of like a worry for me. You're absolutely right. You know, you look around and people's heads are down. They're not communicating. They're not talking to one another. You see it everywhere you go, you know, so in terms of like, do I have hard evidence that, you know, we're all addicted to a phone? I'm not going to kind of say yes.
Okay.
But from my frame of reference, when I look around, do I see people always connected to the phone and not necessarily connecting with one another? Absolutely. And it doesn't matter what country I've been to, what environment I've been in, and it doesn't discriminate in terms of age either.
No.
You know, children, middle-aged, you know, the older generation, It really doesn't discriminate. Just look around. I think we just have to look around to know that. Interestingly, I was thinking, I was having a bit of a laugh about this actually with one of my peer therapists.
Right.
And this was like last year. And I said, there's definitely going to be a therapy in the future for like, you know, digital addiction, surely. So like digital addiction, digital, you know, addiction, it's not recognised as an addiction.
Yeah.
You know, so if you kind
Yet.
of not yet. Yeah. So the NHS and the World Health Organization don't recognise digital use as an addiction.
Well, we recognise it as one, though. I recognise it as one. Do you?
I'm gonna say, in terms of behaviours and how it makes you feel, and you put the phone down, and then for no apparent reason you pick it up again.
I do it all the time.
It's kind of, it feels like a lot of behaviours and patterns that to me do mirror an addiction.
So maybe not too long before that it catches up
Yeah.
with like WHO maybe saying, okay, we've got something here that's in it. We recognise it's an
They
addiction.
recognise that there's issues, and the always kind of, I've read a lot of kind of problematic in terms of the studies and the research that they've done, but it's not labelled as an addiction. It's not, you know, it's not an addiction like gambling is and drugs and alcohol and stuff like that.
I'm surprised it's not been recognised at this point as such, because it feels like it to me.
I personally think, I do think it is going to come. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's got to cause problems for people want to change
Isn't that the
it.
sad thing about
and
human
that's
nature?
where I'm
Yeah.
at. I don't know yet if that awareness is there yet.
I get that. I did an exercise the other day, true story, for this conversation.
Yeah.
And for the people watching this from wherever you are, you can work out your own answer to this before I tell you the answer. So as I'm talking, you come up with your answer, and then I'll tell you if you're right. So I was standing in the street in St Helens, observing people walking past.
Yeah, people watching, it's great. I love that.
And I counted, in the space of time that I was in the doorway, that I was standing in, you guys get your answers ready. I counted 30 people who walked past me, all ages, all different walks of life.
Yeah.
How many of those 30 people, and I was sad enough to do this exercise and count them, but how many of those 30 people do you think were heads down in their smart device as they were walking down the street?
I'm going to say 29.
29 out of 30. What do you think? 29 out of 30? Something different? The answer was 22.
Right,
So
okay.
only 8 of the people who walked past me out of those 30 people
Yeah.
were absorbed in the things around them.
Yeah.
The majority, 22
It's
people.
high percentage, that, isn't
That's
it?
wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
It
they were banging into each other. They were, oh, sorry. And they were just.
I get it. I had this.
It really worries me.
I had this like real like reflection and like, you know, this, I went into like this deep process, but I was on holiday recently and, you know, you buy the pool on the sun lounger and, you know, head in phone. And then I thought, you know what, right, I'm doing this again, put the phone away. And I was just lay there and I looked around and everybody's
Everybody's doing
the
it.
phone down, had the head down.
It can't be healthy.
On the phone, on a
Madness.
sun lounger. And there was this one lady who was sat there with a book. And I was just like fixated on her because I was like, just watching her with a book, that actually feels a bit like peaceful, that. Because I know how that feels.
Did you go and get a book?
Just really present.
Did you get a book?
You know, I didn't take a book on holiday with me this time. And I normally always do. But I think that's that recognition of it doesn't matter where, does it? Just look around. We can see it.
But if you go back to your earlier point about people who were born into an internet and always on world, I'm going to use the internet as the red line. I think that's where it all changed. And then the next red line was smartphone technology, right?
Yeah.
But people who are born into those kind of cultures, wouldn't see that, what you just described, as unusual. That's just
Yeah,
normal,
that's normal,
right?
yeah.
And I think there are times, of course, where it's cool. I'm not telling anybody what to do. You're on your phone 24/7 if you want to be, but there are times where it's cool. And I think when you're on a sun lounge or on holiday, it's perfectly acceptable because, you're just chilled. And if you want to chill in the internet and, maybe it's a Kindle, whatever it is, go for it, right? There's times where it's perfectly fine. I'm just think the thing that worries me is when kids are in classes at school doing it, people are banging into lampposts because they're looking down and not looking up because they're in their smartphones. But I'm more worried about what it's doing to people's ability to cope mentally with mental wellness, kind of at the top of their agenda.
Yeah.
The shrinking nature of confidence and being able to socialise effectively.
Yeah.
I don't think people socialise well, certainly not as confidently and as articulately as they used to, because they don't have to. There's another really, really good example of how this...
Oh, yeah.
And another thing.
Yeah.
There's another good example of how it's affecting society.
Okay.
And it only dawned on me the other day.
Okay.
I forget what I was doing. Anyway, I was filling a lot of forms in the other day. And my handwriting is terrible.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was like a doctor's prescription,
Yeah,
right?
I know where
Awful.
you're going with this. Yeah.
Because we type with
do.
our thumbs.
Yeah, we do.
Or we type with our fingers.
Yeah.
And we don't write anymore.
Yeah.
When was the last time you wrote a letter and posted it?
Yeah.
When? Can you actually remember?
Okay, last time I wrote a letter, I can't remember that. I did some handwriting this morning. Bit of preparation for coming today.
Other than that?
And I actually looked down at the piece of paper and thought, you know what, that is terrible handwriting.
Because
Looks awful.
Because it's a skill we're losing because we don't do it. And I think the same thing
absolutely,
applies to the skill of socialising. Because we're not socialising in groups the way we used to, the art of conversation and socialising is shrinking and diminishing. I wonder where we'll be in 20 years.
I often think that.
What was that film that about the people who are living their life through avatars? Do you remember that movie? What's his name? Who's the actor? That actor, Bruce Willis was in
Bruce
it.
Willis.
Everybody's dead handsome. And actually they're all sitting in their living rooms with sweaty stained vests and they're all overweight.
Yeah.
But they're living their lives through avatars
Right,
online.
okay.
So their avatar can be as beautiful and slender and as successful as it needs to be. But that's actually how people live their life in the future.
Yeah.
And they only ever came out to go and, go to the toilet, really.
Yeah.
Are we headed? Am I worrying too much, Lisa?
Oh, I just think, well, as as a counsellor, I just always kind of think of everything about balance, and like my thing is, how always being connected affects our thoughts and our feelings.
How does it do that?
Our emotions. I think always being connected does influence our thoughts, our emotions, our behaviours. Just from personal experience and conversations with clients, if I'm talking with a client and they start to talk to me about self-care because they're anxious and what they want to do, they'll usually say to me, I'm having a digital detox. I'm going to come off Facebook.
I've heard that phrase.
I'm going to come off this and that, because because they have that digital diet, if you like. So they say, I'm going to have a digital detox. So it's kind of like, it is recognised that in terms of some clients' well-being, to come off it, to have breaks from it or to have boundaries with it is a good thing for their well-being. So there is that recognition. My thing as well is like, so we've got this self-awareness that we think it's a problem, don't we? Like we've got an awareness of it, don't we? Because we're people watching, we're looking around, we're observing. So we've got that awareness with it. My thing is like, not everyone has that awareness, do they? Like not everyone has that awareness that they are always on the phone and it's impacting the thoughts and how they feel.
Because to them it's normal.
Because it's normal.
There's no other, like you said, no other previous frame of reference.
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
So actually, is it that is kind of a nice link into my next question? Is that so? There's two generations of people now since 1995 when the internet was born. I mean, I know the internet was created long before that, and it was used in the military and stuff. But the social internet that we know of today was really kind of came to fruition in 95. So from that date until today, each generation lasts about, a generation is equated to being 15 or so years, right?
Yeah.
There's actually two, this freaked me out when I worked it out. There's two generations alive today who have never known life without the internet.
Yeah.
That's mental.
Yeah. It is, isn't it?
That is mad.
Yeah, it is.
That's
mad.
crazy. So the norm is just what it is.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, are we just worried too much? Being born into that, does that automatically just qualify you to exist and survive well and do well and have... what's the score?
Well, there is. I keep saying the word research and borrowing myself saying this, but I think in terms of I think the last studies that was done in 2020, children aged 5 to 16, and it was reported that 1 in 5 have suffered with a mental health. They referred to it as an issue. 1 in 5, age 5 to 16,
Right.
and that has significantly jumped. Because in 2017, that was 1 in 9 children.
And what is it today? 1 in 5.
Yeah.
That's well. That's almost doubled then
So
in the space of 4.
the evidence is there, isn't it?
Yeah.
The evidence is there, and they are kind of. I know from what I've read as well, they're trying to kind of just incorporate in schools now and
Yeah, I've seen this. When you go in, you have
Yeah.
to give over your mobile device. And
Yeah,
they put it in a
are.
locker.
Yeah,
and what's it called? A digital amnesty.
Yeah.
And then you get it back at the end of the lesson.
Yeah.
I think that's A,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
and B, sad that we have to even do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that probably underlines the fact that it's a problem. Why would we be doing stuff like that if it wasn't a problem? Anyway, so do you see a lot of this stuff come through? Let's talk about your business. Should I call it a business? Sounds a bit transactional.
Yeah, no, it is a wellbeing business. I'm, a counsellor in private practice. It is, it's very emotional and it is a connection, but it does operate as a business.
And do you see a lot of these issues come through in your conversations you have with clients? Are people coming in because they do feel that it's having they're not coping well in today's world? And
I think, if I'm referring to clients who come to me because they're experiencing high levels of anxiety or high levels of stress, there is definitely a connection there with always being on.
Yeah.
And whether that's connected on, always being on a smartphone, a digital device, or whether that is kind of, the pressures and the expectations and demands of work, just being in that human doing mode rather than human being way too much.
Yeah.
So that definitely comes through. And I feel like there's been an essence coming through the past 12 months or so in terms of relationships. I feel like the phone thing does come into those conversations around, I'm just not feeling connected.
Relationships under more stress because people aren't connected the way they should be to each other.
I think, I'm going to say from my experience, I've had clients come into the therapy room and say, I feel my relationship's being affected because there's a lack of connection. We don't talk anymore. He or she or whoever is always on their phone.
Yeah.
I've heard this. This has come into the therapy room. Most definitely, yeah.
Not a relationship challenge you would have heard 20 years ago or 30 years ago, is it?
No.
We're in trouble because he's always on his phone.
Hey, well, on Loose Women this morning, the conversation was, has pillow talk ended because phones end up in the bedroom?
Oh,
it was a brilliant episode to watch before
I'll tell
this.
you now, the answer's yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It has.
It's so bad that though, isn't it?
I mean, listen, she'll kill me for saying it, but my wife and I regularly will sit in the room on our phones and then go, night then. It's the modern world is weird.
Al, you are not on your own.
I'm telling you, it's the truth.
There's
Scary.
reassurance in that you are not on your own. It was a big
It's mad.
topic of conversation today. Pillow talk does not exist. I don't quite know what pillow talk is, to be honest, but I can't recall it. But Yeah,
I can't recall
you
it.
know, just that expression, pillow talk. It's like, right, okay, is that just a reflection on the day? Is that just the general kind of?
I think pillow talk was
chit-chat?
general chit chat that led to babies.
Oh right, okay,
I
is
think
it?
maybe just in my
Oh, right.
imagination, my single track mind. I'm not too
It
sure.
probably is.
But I think that's what it was, wasn't
Oh,
it?
was
Pillow
it?
talk was always a reference about. Yeah, it was lying on your pillow talking, and the talk got a little bit fruity, and then babies happen.
Well, they're saying that doesn't happen anymore.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Because everyone's on
Well,
the phone.
listen. The world's overpopulated. There's 7.8 billion people on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is actually should just shut up about it and let it happen, because maybe the digital revolution is going to control the world's population. So let's talk about Cam Coach while you're here.
Yeah.
So St Helens based, but people come from all over to see you.
Yeah, I work three ways with clients.
Yeah.
I have the pleasure of being able to work face to face with clients. I work with clients on the phone, so then distance isn't an issue. And I work with clients online, so distance isn't an issue. I do really enjoy being face to face in the therapy room with a client.
Can't beat it.
Because, do you want me to tell you why, Al?
Because they're not on the phones.
Because I'm switched off.
Hey.
And they're switched off.
That's it.
And it is that
And this
connection.
happens. What we're doing right
and
now
all
happens.
that matters is you and that client and their emotions and feelings.
So you're not on.
I'm not on.
You're just listening.
And they're the
you're just
moments
there.
of
You're a human being. You're a human being,
Yeah.
not human doing.
Yeah.
And that's so important.
Yeah.
Because therapy just wouldn't work otherwise.
No,
would it?
absolutely not.
And so how do people get in touch with you if they want to come and have a conversation with you as your therapist or a counsellor?
Yeah.
The website?
Yeah, I've got a website. I'm basically on nearly every social media platform. Always switched on. Yes, that is something I'm working on too.
Okay.
And basically it's lisa.calmcoach, and calm is with a K. Coach
Is that your
is
website?
with a K. That's most of my social media platforms.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
if you're watching now, all the information at the bottom of the screen that you can see here is how you can get in touch with Lisa directly. The website's there, the phone number's there, and the email is there as well. So it's all there for you. So what you get in touch with Lisa, there it is. All right. And you can give Lisa a call, and I'll leave that to you two to sort out. Lisa, it has been a pleasure talking to you today.
Likewise.
And thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you.
I don't know if we've resolved all the things I wanted to resolve. I think I might be leaving this conversation worrying a wee bit more about if are people coping, because I've not answered my own questions, but you've certainly been really insightful. And I hope that, our worst fears about society breaking down don't happen, and actually people get a grip of themselves and things get better. But
I think the awareness is coming slowly but surely. Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's end on a positive message from you about being able to cope in an always-on world. What's your final parting message for anybody watching today? How do they cope?
Okay. How do you cope? So first of all, I think it is about self-awareness and awareness. So, I would say, if you listen to this, I would stop, pause, and reflect on what does your life look like and feel like always being connected. Because you've got to know how something is making you feel to want to make changes in it.
Okay.
The next step I would you want to feel how it feels to not be connected intentionally. Have an old-fashioned Sunday. Switch the phone off Saturday night and switch it back on Monday.
I can feel
See
everybody's
how
blood pressure going up.
It feels, see how your body feels, how your anxiety's less, how your muscles are softer, your stomach's softer, your shoulders are lower.
Wow.
Experience it and feel it, because the moment you'll feel it, you'll recognise the difference between always being on and connecting to your parasympathetic nervous system, which is being rested and connected. So go ahead and intentionally schedule and feel that difference. And then the next step then is to think about, what moments in your life do you want to create those pauses? Is it at meal times with your family? Is it having a slow morning? What moments is it? Is it the lunch break at work? But I think the first thing to do is to stop, pause and reflect, to gain your own self-awareness of what being connected looks like for you.
I feel absolutely relaxed after just listening to that, to be fair.
Oh, brilliant.
That's absolutely brilliant.
I've done my job.
So I am going to, and you can hold me to this, I'm going to turn my phone off this week on Saturday night.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn it on Monday morning. And I'm going to come back to you and tell you how much I freaked out or how much I didn't and how I felt as a result.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do that this week.
Are you shaking on it?
Yeah, I'll shake on that. All right. It's a deal. All right.
Yeah.
Lisa, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And will you come back again?
Of course I will.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for watching. This has been What's the Hype with Al Hughes and Lisa Graham. See you next time.
Cheers, Al. Wait, what's the question?
Right.